All right, friends, are you ready to read? I know I am, so get comfy. It's listening time. Let's turn up the volume on our ears. Can you hear me? Sweet! And now, since we're listening, we're going to have to turn down the volume on our mouths. On the count of 3, we're going to put on our regal reading glasses so that you can see the pictures, or you can even read along with me if you already know how. Okay? 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to be reading again from another collection of stories, and today's pick is Little Legends, Exceptional Men in Black History, and the pictures and the story are both by Vashti Harrison. Now let's see who we're going to learn about today. Charles Henry Turner. He lived between 1867 and 1923. He was a zoologist and an educator. And this is Charles Henry Turner. As a boy, Charles loved bugs. He would spend his days either outside observing insects and animals or indoors reading from his parents' massive library. His mother had been enslaved and instilled in her son the belief that education would lead to a better life. Charles graduated from high school as his class valedictorian and studied biology in college. At the University of Cincinnati, he published studies on birds' brains and invertebrates, becoming the first African American to publish in Science and the Journal of Animal Behavior. Later, he was the first Black person to get a PhD in zoology at the University of Chicago. Throughout his career, Charles struggled, likely because of race, to find steady work at a college or university where he could conduct his research. He committed himself to fighting for civil rights and advocating for Black students to have a good education. He even dreamed of starting his own school for Black children. While he never did, he eventually settled in St. Louis and taught at the historic Black Summer High School. Even though Charles didn't have access to the expensive tools and state-of-the-art laboratories that the other scientists had, he still developed research methods to make many amazing discoveries about insects. He conducted experiments and determined that bees can see in color. By building mazes, he observed that cockroaches and caterpillars learn by trial and error. He found that ants use light and landmarks to navigate. And he showed that insects have memories and they alter their behavior based on what they remember. Charles also was the first to notice that ants walk around their nest before entering. This action was later named Turner's circling in his honor. By the end of his life, he had published more than 70 research papers and changed the way people viewed insects. Charles valued hard work and knowledge. A pioneer of comparative research, he led by example and forever broadened our understanding of different behaviors in nature. And this, everyone, is Charles Henry Turner, and he lived from 1867 to 1923. Wow. I don't know about you, but all that reading made me so thirsty, so I'm going to take a sip of water from my clever cup. Delicious. I love reading and learning with you. Thanks for joining me with your big, beautiful smiles. Your good company brought so much love and light to this room. Okay, lovely learners, we have a dash of love and a sprinkle of light, but what did we learn today? Wow, that story of Charles Henry Turner is fantastic. Do you know what my favorite part is? I love that even though he didn't have all of the fancy materials that he thought he needed to do the research, he was still able to find out things that nobody knew about insects before. And this is why it's really, really important to make do with what you have. You may not have the latest iPad to play on, but you can still have fun with whatever other toys that you do have. And remember to always be grateful for whatever it is that you have. Just because your friends have the newest video game console also doesn't mean that you have to have it too. An attitude of gratitude for what you do have goes a long way. Now, do you think that Charles Henry Turner would have been able to do all the research that he did with the little tools that he had if he wasn't taking care of them? Exactly. This is why taking care of the things that you do have is also very important. For example, being gentle with your toys while you play with them is a good way to make sure that they last, or even something as simple as putting them away after you're finished playing with them can keep them looking nice and new, instead of them being accidentally stepped on so that they can get crushed or dirty. It's a good idea to take care of your books too. Be careful with bending the pages and keep them in a safe place, like on a bookshelf or in a bin. A special Lovely Learner shout out goes to my boy Mason. When Mason stopped in here at the Soulful Sofa, he told me that he loves bugs and insects and anything to do with them. Way to go, Mason, because I'm still pretty afraid of bugs and insects. All of you lovely learners are so smart. Thank you so much for sharing these things with me. I really appreciate it. Now tell me, what's something that you have that you take really good care of? You can always send me a message right here at the email address. I would love to hear all about it.